Welcome to the deep dive. We love to go deep on all sorts of topics. And today we're diving into the world of gold,
Yeah.
from its origins to its impact on human civilization. And, you guys sent us some really fascinating sources, so we're excited to break them down.
Yeah. And, it's not just about shiny necklaces and gold bars, though. I mean,
Yeah.
those are definitely a big part of the story. But we're going to be exploring like the science, the history, the economics, and even like the ethics of this precious metal.
Get ready for some surprises because gold's story is anything but ordinary. I mean, we're talking about a substance that's forged in the fiery hearts of dying stars, literally stardust that made its way to Earth billions of years ago.
That's right. Those supernovae and neutron star collisions that we always hear about. I mean, they're not just, like cosmic light shows. These are like the crucibles where gold is actually created. And so it takes these immense pressure and heat to fuse atoms together in a process called rapid neutron capture, or the R process for short.
The R process sounds intense. Can you maybe break that down a bit further for us?
Yeah, so imagine like a cosmic pressure cooker where atoms are just being bombarded with neutrons at like incredible speeds. And it's almost like a celestial game of atomic billiards, but instead of scattering, the neutrons are captured and they form heavier elements, including gold.
So it's not just any old star that can make gold. It takes these incredibly violent, explosive events to create something that's so rare and valuable.
Exactly. And even after billions of years of these like cosmic fireworks and asteroid showers delivering this stardust to Earth, gold still makes up a tiny, tiny fraction of our planet's crust.
Wow, how tiny are we talking?
We're talking 0.004 parts per million.
That's incredibly scarce. No wonder it's been so sought after throughout history. So speaking of history, let's shift gears and travel back in time to see how gold has really shaped civilizations. Where do we even begin?
We could start with like the ancient Egyptians who actually believed that gold was the flesh of the gods.
Mm.
They would adorn their tombs and masks and artwork with it, hoping to ensure eternal life for their pharaohs.
It's fascinating how gold was really intertwined with their beliefs about the afterlife. I mean, they weren't just burying treasure, they were trying to capture a piece of the divine.
Yeah, and their intricate gold craftsmanship and just the sheer quantity of gold used in their rituals highlights its significance in their culture.
Mm.
And it wasn't just about aesthetics. It was about connecting with something beyond the earthly realm.
Talk about a high stakes investment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the Egyptians who were captivated by gold. It seems like every civilization has had its own gold obsession.
Absolutely. I mean, from the mythical King Midas, who wished for everything he touched to turn to gold, to the legendary El Dorado, a city of gold sought by Spanish conquistadors. I mean, gold has captured our imaginations for centuries.
Yeah, and those stories, while fantastical, they really highlight gold's enduring allure. But beyond the myths and legends, gold's played a very real and practical role in the development of human societies.
Definitely. The Lydians, a kingdom in present-day Turkey, they were the first to mint gold coins around 564 BC. Yeah, and this innovation, like, revolutionized trade and really laid the groundwork for modern economies.
So from flesh of the gods to standardized currency, gold's role has always been evolving. It makes you wonder, what is it about this metal that makes it so special? What gives it this enduring value?
Well, aside from its undeniable beauty, gold possesses unique properties that have made it both practical and highly prized. It doesn't rust or tarnish like many other metals, making it incredibly durable. Just look at those ancient Egyptian artifacts still gleaming after thousands of years.
That's amazing. So it's not just about the sparkle, it's about the substance.
Exactly. Gold is also incredibly malleable and ductile. It can be easily shaped into intricate designs, drawn into thin wires and used in a wide range of applications, from jewelry and electronics to even dentistry.
Oh, wow.
And let's not forget that it's an excellent conductor of electricity.
So it's not just about beauty, it's about functionality too. But I have to ask, with all those practical uses, is it really the scarcity that drives its value? I mean, it's not like we're running out of gold, are we?
It's true that more gold is being mined all the time, but the total amount of gold ever extracted is still relatively small.
Hmm.
Imagine all the gold ever mined fitting into a cube. It would only be about 21 meters on each side.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not that big when you think about it.
not that big at all.
So even with modern mining, gold remains a finite resource. And that scarcity, combined with its unique properties and universal appeal, is what gives it that enduring value.
Precisely. And it's this inherent value that makes gold a safe haven asset, particularly during times of crisis. When stock markets tumble or currencies fluctuate, people often turn to gold as a store of value, something tangible and lasting.
It's almost like a psychological comfort blanket, knowing you have something that's held its value for thousands of years, regardless of what's happening in the world.
Yeah, that psychological aspect is very real.
Yeah.
Even central banks around the world hold substantial gold reserves. Why? Because it acts as a hedge against economic uncertainty.
It's fascinating how gold transcends national borders and economic systems. It's almost like a universal language of value. But this begs the question, is this reliance on gold rational, or is it more about emotion and tradition?
That's a good question. I think it's likely a combination of both. There's the practical side, the historical track record, and the fact that gold has always been in demand. But there's also that emotional side, that sense of security and stability that gold seems to offer.
It's a fascinating paradox. But before we get too lost in the mystique of gold, let's shift gears and take a look at the less glamorous side of this story, the mining process and its impact on the environment and people. Because for all its allure, gold doesn't come without a cost.
You're right. It's important to acknowledge that the pursuit of gold, while driven by its value, often comes at a price. Mining operations, whether those vast open-pit mines or small-scale artisanal digs, can have significant consequences.
When we think of gold mining, those massive industrial operations often come to mind, like the ones we see in documentaries. But millions of people are also involved in what's called artisanal and small-scale gold mining, which can look very different.
That's right. And while large-scale mines have a bigger environmental footprint in terms of land disturbance and resource consumption, both types of mining come with their own set of challenges. One of the most concerning practices is cyanide leaching, a chemical process used to extract gold from ore.
Cyanide leaching, that sounds pretty intense. What exactly is involved in that process, and what are the risks?
Well, it involves spraying a cyanide solution onto crushed ore to dissolve the gold, and while it's effective for extraction, it also creates toxic byproducts that can contaminate water sources and harm wildlife. There have been devastating cyanide spills around the world, serving as stark reminders of the potential risks associated with this practice.
That's a sobering thought. And then there are the social implications of mining. You mentioned that millions of people work in artisanal and small-scale mining. What are the conditions like for them?
It's estimated that around 15 million people are involved in this type of mining globally, and many of them work in dangerous and exploitative conditions. They often lack proper safety equipment and face health risks from exposure to mercury and other hazardous materials. Some are even subjected to forced labor or child labor.
It's heartbreaking to think about the human cost behind something as seemingly glamorous as gold. It's a reminder that the pursuit of wealth can sometimes come at a very high price. But before we dive deeper into those ethical dilemmas, we need to explore another dark side of the gold industry, the illegal gold trade and its far-reaching consequences. And trust me, the statistics are truly shocking. We'll uncover that after a short break.
Yeah, it's a harsh reality that something so beautiful and coveted can actually fuel such darkness. The illicit gold trade is a multi-billion-dollar industry with some really devastating consequences.
It's hard to believe that something like, just a gold necklace or a gold bar could be connected to such a complex web of like criminal activity.
Yeah, to give you an idea of the scale, it's estimated that like a staggering 40% of Peru's gold is smuggled out of the country illegally.
40%, that's almost half of their gold production just disappearing into the shadows. It makes you wonder like where it all goes and who's profiting from this.
And globally, the United Nations estimates that like illicit financial flows related to gold amount to a staggering $48 billion every year. This illegal gold trade often funds conflict, fuels criminal organizations, and devastates communities.
It's mind-boggling to think about, that amount of money flowing through these like underground channels. What are the main drivers behind this illegal trade?
It's a complex mix of factors. Weak governance and corruption in some gold-producing countries create opportunities for illegal operations to thrive. Armed groups and militias often control mining areas and use gold profits to fund their activities, perpetuating violence and instability.
So it's not just about stealing gold, it's about exploiting resources to finance conflict and instability. It's a truly vicious cycle.
Exactly. And the consequences extend far beyond those immediate mining regions. The money generated from this illegal gold can flow into international criminal networks, fueling drug trafficking, arms dealing, and even terrorism.
It's a stark reminder that our choices as consumers have, ripple effects that we might not even realize. But how can we as individuals make a difference in the face of such a large-scale problem?
Well, I think being aware of the origins of the gold we buy is a good start. Supporting companies that adhere to strict sourcing standards and promote transparency can help combat this illicit trade.
So it's about doing our homework and making informed choices. But I've also heard about those gold scams, targeting individual investors, those fake gold bars with tungsten cores and all that.
Yeah, those scams are more common than you might think. There's a whole range of schemes out there targeting individuals looking to invest in gold. Fraudulent gold-backed investment schemes, counterfeit coins, and even sophisticated operations selling fake gold certificates can easily dupe unsuspecting buyers.
It's unsettling to think that even something as seemingly tangible as gold can be subject to such deception. How can people protect themselves from these scams? What red flags should they look out for?
It's crucial to buy gold from reputable and licensed dealers. If a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Verifying the purity of gold, looking for hallmarks or certifications, and doing thorough research on the seller are essential steps.
Buyer beware is definitely the motto when it comes to gold. It's clear that this glittering metal has a dark underbelly that we can't ignore. But for many people, the primary interest in gold lies in its investment potential. So let's shift our focus now to the world of finance and explore whether gold is truly a smart investment or just a shiny relic of the past.
That's a question that's been debated for centuries. Gold has a long and complex history as an investment with passionate advocates and equally vocal critics.
Yeah, it seems like everyone has an opinion on gold, but few truly understand its nuances as an investment. So let's break down the investment landscape, starting with the different ways people can invest in gold.
Sure. So for those looking to add gold to their portfolio, there are various avenues. One popular option is investing in gold ETFs, like the SPDR Gold Trust, also known as GLD.
GLD, that sounds familiar. Can you explain what a gold ETF is and how it works for someone who might not be familiar with those terms?
Of course, an ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is like a basket of assets that you can buy and sell on a stock exchange. A gold ETF specifically tracks the price of gold. So instead of buying and storing physical gold, you're essentially buying shares that represent ownership in a trust that holds gold bullion.
So it's like buying shares in a company, but instead of owning a piece of a business, you're essentially owning a fraction of a gold bar.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
ETFs offer liquidity, meaning you can easily buy and sell your shares on the stock market. And for those who prefer the tangibility of owning physical gold, there's always the option of buying gold bullion bars or coins.
I imagine holding a gold bar in your hand must feel pretty satisfying, but it also comes with the hassle of storage and security concerns, right?
Absolutely. This physical gold requires safekeeping, whether it's a home safe or a secure vault. There are also premiums and fees associated with buying and selling bullion. But for some, that tangible connection to the metal outweighs those inconveniences.
So we've got ETFs for easy trading and physical gold for that sense of ownership. But what about the big question? Is gold actually a good investment? Should we be listening to the gold bugs or the skeptics?
There's no simple answer, as it depends on individual investment goals and risk tolerance. One of the most common arguments for investing in gold is its role as a hedge against inflation.
Inflation has been a hot topic lately, so that makes sense. But how exactly does gold protect against rising prices? Wouldn't everything become more expensive, including gold?
That's a good question. While the price of gold might fluctuate in the short term, historically, it has tended to hold its value or even increase in value when the cost of goods and services rises. This is because gold is a finite resource, and its value is not directly tied to the performance of any specific currency or economy.
So it's like an anchor in a storm when everything else is fluctuating. Gold provides a sense of stability. At least that's the idea. But some prominent investors, like Warren Buffett, are known for their skepticism toward gold. They argue that it doesn't generate income or dividends like stocks or bonds.
Warren Buffett is a highly respected investor, and his views on gold are worth considering. It's true that unlike a company that produces goods or services, gold doesn't generate any cash flow. Its value is based on what someone else is willing to pay for it at any given time.
So it's all about supply and demand driven by market sentiment and global events. It makes me wonder, is investing in gold more about speculation than long-term growth?
There's definitely an element of speculation involved in any investment, including gold. But despite the criticisms, gold's long-term performance can't be ignored. Since 1971, when the U.S. abandoned the gold standard, gold has averaged annual returns of around 10%, outpacing inflation.
That's a pretty compelling track record, but it's important to remember that past performance doesn't guarantee future returns, right?
Of course, investing in anything carries inherent risks, but gold's historical resilience and its unique role in the global financial system make it a compelling asset class for many investors.
It sounds like the key is to view gold not as a get-rich-quick scheme, but as a potential long-term hedge against inflation and market volatility. But how much of one's portfolio should be allocated to gold? Is there a magic number?
Most financial advisors recommend allocating between 5% and 10% of a diversified portfolio to gold. This provides exposure to its potential benefits without overexposing yourself to its price fluctuations.
So it's about finding the right balance within a broader investment strategy. But what about those who believe gold is a bubble waiting to burst? Should those concerns be taken seriously?
Gold has certainly experienced periods of rapid price appreciation followed by corrections, but its intrinsic value, driven by its scarcity and enduring appeal, suggests that it's unlikely to disappear as an asset class anytime soon.
That's reassuring to hear. But when it comes to making informed investment decisions, it's essential to consider all perspectives, weigh the risks and potential rewards, and align your choices with your own financial goals and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Understanding your own investment style and seeking advice from trusted financial professionals can help you navigate the complexities of the gold market.
It's all about finding the right balance for you, and that brings us to an important point. Gold isn't the only game in town. To make truly informed investment decisions, we need to compare gold to other asset classes like stocks and real estate.
Excellent point. It's like choosing between apples, oranges, and, well, gold bars.
Yeah.
Each asset class has its own unique characteristics, risks, and rewards.
Okay, let's play a game of Would You Rather with our investments. In one corner, we have stocks known for their potential growth and dividends. In the other corner, we have real estate offering rental income and potential appreciation. And of course, our reigning champion gold, the safe haven asset. Which one do you choose?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's not about choosing one over the others. It's about understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each asset class and creating a portfolio that reflects your individual needs and goals. Stocks, for example, offer the potential for higher returns over the long term, fueled by company profits and economic growth.
But stocks can also be volatile, right? We've all seen those headlines about market crashes and sudden drops. Gold, on the other hand, tends to be more stable even if its growth might be slower.
Exactly. Stocks are like that exciting friend who takes you on adventures, but you might end up on a roller coaster ride. Gold is that calming presence that helps you weather the storm. But let's not forget about real estate. Owning property has been a wealth-building strategy for generations.
Yeah, there's something tangible and appealing about owning a piece of land or a building. And the idea of generating rental income can be attractive. Plus, real estate often appreciates in value over time.
Those are all valid points. But real estate also comes with its own set of challenges. It's not as liquid as stocks or gold, meaning it can take time to sell a property if you need to access your funds quickly.
So real estate is a bit like that friend who's always up for a long-term commitment, but maybe not so great for spontaneous outings.
That's a great way to put it. Ultimately, the best choice for you depends on your individual circumstances, your financial goals, and your comfort level with risk.
It's like assembling a puzzle. You need different pieces to create a complete picture. Diversification is key. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. A well-balanced portfolio typically includes a mix of asset classes. This helps to mitigate risk and potentially enhance returns over time. And within that mix, gold can play a valuable role as a hedge against economic downturns and inflation.
So it's not a question of choosing one over the other. It's about understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each asset class and creating a portfolio that reflects your individual needs and goals.
Precisely. And remember, this isn't a one-time decision. Your investment strategy should evolve as your circumstances change and as the financial landscape shifts.
It's like a dance, isn't it? You have to adjust your steps and find your rhythm as the music changes. But no matter what, knowledge is power. The more you understand about different investment options, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why deep dives like this are so valuable. They empower you with the knowledge and insights to navigate the complex world of finance and make choices that align with your values and aspirations.
So as we wrap up our journey through the world of gold, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We started billions of years ago with the cosmic origins of this precious metal, explored its fascinating journey through human history, and delved into the complexities of mining ethics and investment. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's the realization that gold is much more than just a shiny metal or a financial instrument. It's a reflection of our history, our desires, and our challenges. It's a symbol of wealth and power, but also a reminder of the human cost and environmental impact associated with its extraction.
I think that's a crucial point. Gold's story is intertwined with both the best and worst aspects of humanity. It can inspire awe and wonder, but also greed and conflict. It's a potent reminder that our choices matter both as consumers and investors.
And it's a testament to the power of knowledge, The more we understand about gold's origins, its journey through time, and its place in the modern world, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions that align with our values and contribute to a more sustainable future.
I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but there's always more to learn. Whether you view gold as a family heirloom, a potential investment, or simply a fascinating subject, hopefully this conversation has sparked your curiosity and given you some food for thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you continue to explore the world of gold, remember to approach it with a critical eye, a sense of wonder, and a commitment to ethical choices.
Beautifully said. Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question based on something we discussed
Oh, really?
earlier.
That'll have a good challenge.
Yeah.
What's the question?
We talked about the environmental and social costs of gold mining and the potential of e-waste recycling as a more sustainable alternative. So my question to you, dear listener, is could e-waste recycling become a game changer for the ethical gold market?
That's a fascinating question, and it's one that deserves further exploration after all. We live in a world where technology is constantly evolving, leaving behind a trail of discarded devices that contain valuable metals, including gold.
Exactly. What if we could tap into that urban mine and recover gold in a way that reduces the need for traditional mining, lessens environmental damage, and creates economic opportunities in a more responsible way?
It's a tantalizing prospect, and it highlights the interconnectedness of our choices as consumers, investors, and citizens.
Hmm.
What we choose to buy, where we invest our money, and how we dispose of our electronic waste all have ripple effects that shape the world around us.
So as you go about your day, consider the role that gold plays in your life and the choices you can make to support a more ethical and sustainable gold industry.
And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. We encourage you to continue exploring, asking questions, and sharing your own thoughts and experiences.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of gold. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge, keep challenging assumptions, and keep those golden insights flowing.
It really is. It's amazing to think about all the possibilities and, how our choices can really contribute to a, more responsible and sustainable future for gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we love about these deep dives, exploring these complex topics, uncovering these hidden connections, and just empowering you with knowledge. But we don't want the conversation to end here. We want to hear from you.
That's right. What are your thoughts on gold as an investment? Have you ever considered like the ethical implications of, buying gold? Or maybe you have a personal story about a family heirloom or a piece of gold jewelry that holds like a special meaning for you.
We're all ears. Share your insights, your experiences, your questions. Let's keep this conversation going.
Yeah, your perspectives enrich our understanding and help us all learn from each other. That's what the deep dive is all about.
Exactly. So dive into the comments below, share your thoughts, and let's continue exploring together. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of gold, be sure to subscribe to the deep dive for more fascinating journeys into the world around us.
Yeah, we're always uncovering new and intriguing topics to explore.
Until next time, keep those curious minds engaged and never stop seeking knowledge.